really do a lot of good things for players. You know, people always meme about TSM jungle, but looking at how some of those players are performing on other teams, Svenskar won an MVP after just getting roasted constantly for being, you know, bad on TSM. And sometimes just changing teams can really help you to kind of like look better and reinvigorate your career. So I'm excited to see how Licorice will look on Golden Guardians, if they can play around him, if they can build around him in a way that makes him more successful than he was on FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think we often understate the mental aspect of the game because it is so difficult to prove why it is important. But every player you talk to will say the same thing, and this is definitely the kind of reset that could help Licorice kind of bounce back.
And I mean, I don't even think it's that complicated. Just think about playing games for yourself at home when you're feeling in a bad mood, when you're just having a really terrible day and it just doesn't feel like you're going to be able to play well. These are people too. They have those bad days, and when you're in a more positive environment, when you're in an environment that really is kind of working better, when you're getting along with your teammates and these types of things, it has an enormous effect on your performance on stage. 100 Thieves is going to be an incredibly difficult opponent. Yes, there was upsets earlier, but 100 Thieves has been just crushing lately in the LCS.
They really have. So we'll recap the draft because we're almost done with phase number 1. It is Licorice back on Gwen, Volibear, Kalista, Gnar, Diana with one more to go for 100 Thieves. And the answer is Nautilus for Huhi.
And Licorice has gone to Gwen a number of times. He has had some good games on it, was able to carry one or two, had some poor performances as well where he was criticized for being given those draft resources and kind of not creating an advantage with it. Against Ssumday on the Gnar, it may be difficult to do that. You're kind of looking for the long extended lanes, trying to chase down this mini Gnar in mini form to really be able to get those all-in kills. Closer on the Diana, though, that is frightening. This guy is such a monster, in particular on this champion. Was one of the first to bring it out in NA, if not the first, and has been so damn good on it. You can see that the ban's going towards kind of different roles. The AD's already chosen on the Golden Guardian side, so they're banning out Chime, whereas Golden Guardians are trying to focus FBI here, taking away the Varus. They've already got the Kalista for themselves. I would expect if you want to do another AD ban that Golden Guardians could ban away the Kaisa. The Kaisa plus Nautilus pairing is so incredibly common. Really does work well with the style of draft that they're going towards here also. That seems to be looking towards the dive.
So a set ban there, so I think giving respect to AblazeOlive, who has played that at least this year, if not this split. But curious where Golden Guardians want to direct their final ban to. Yeah,
it could also be towards Chime. You know, playing the set support works really well as a pairing, especially with Kalista. Very aggressive, throw him in there. So I do think they're targeting that makes a lot of sense. Instead of the Kaisa, they're going to ban Tristana. It is kind of the safer option. It's less divey, but I think it's going to be an easy Kaisa lock there. You know, this is just one of the most classic pairings for it. Nautilus plus Kaisa, 4 melee around it, hard commit to the dive. Not only do you have the Nautilus set you up and apply the plasma, Diana ultimate does too, Gnar does too. So they have a pretty strong comp here. They're setting up for last pick for Abbeddage, so looking to get a winning lane and kind of round out their composition based on what Golden Guardians grabs.
Yeah, it's FBI physically drafting the pick as well. So he's probably just tuned out Repeat. He's just locking in Kaisa. Doesn't even think about it. Doesn't need to. Rell going to be the lock in there for Golden Guardians. Not something we see that often, but can be very potent alongside something like Kalista. But of note, Rell's laning is not good.
Yeah, I mean, really long cooldowns on the W. You're not applying a tremendous amount of pressure as well because you can't actually just proc the Kalista passive very easily. So looking like it will be a blind Lucian mid here. So we'll see what Abbeddage has in store to try to punish this. What I will say is if it is going to be one of those 4 melee comps that have become so popular, Rell's counter engage is incredible, right? You all stack up, you all dive in, trying to pile in on this Lucian or this Kalista, and the counter engage can be incredible for Rell. The AoE ultimate, snap them all together, attract repel, stun them all up, the crash down knocks them all up again. That combo can be very, very deadly. Yasuo!
Let's go!
It's Yasuo Diana as the combo here. People have been waiting for this.
I've been waiting!
You have been waiting for this.
We talked about it last time.
We talked about it as Diana comes through. The ultimate plus that of Yasuo. You know, there's multiple knockups here, but this combo in particular, obviously the old school one is that of Gragas plus Yasuo, but the snap together, you can ult off of Diana's ult. That is incredibly strong. The ability to flash in, AoE ultimate, Yasuo to follow that up is really, really exciting. Yasuo has not been popular at all this season. largely because so many of the brawling champions he actually struggles against, but because it is double marksman, the wind wall is going to have really high value here also. Nautilus can set you up, Gnar can set you up. There's a lot of setup here for Abbeddage, and they're going to have to play around him because Yasuo needs to generally play from ahead to be able to dive into these fights, to be able to have success. It's one of those champions that when it looks good, it looks really good.
Yep.
When it looks bad, it looks terrible.
It does indeed look bad. As nice and spicy here for Abbeddage. No longer stuck on Karma. He has been unleashed. I guess they're so far ahead of everyone that he has been perhaps gifted the opportunity to play Yasuo. I also like that, West Rise has just infiltrated everywhere C9 is going. Reaper left went to another team, still bringing Yasuo plus AP jungle with a knockup into the foray here. Of note, even though this is a counter pick, Lucian's landing still holds true.
Yeah.
Still very good up against Yasuo. We don't expect Abbeddage to crush the 1v1.
No, not at all. I mean, I think post 6, if you're doing well, or even just once you get some item buys in, it can get more difficult for the Lucian. But early levels, you're always going to expect the Lucian to be able to bully. It is exhaust on Abbeddage, so that does complicate things a bit. Sometimes even in the earlier levels, if you can force a fully committed all-in with the exhaust, well, Lucian's going to lose out just because of that summoner spell difference. So that's something that AblazeOlive is going to have to be careful. You want to push the tempo in this lane as much as you possibly can. You want to be in his face, forcing him to farm under turret, harassing him off of CS. But if you overextend and you get that committed all-in against someone who's exhaust, you will lose it. So, it's really about walking that line. And this is going to be an exciting one. Free pro view matchup is
for a better free one.
So it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, Exhaust is one of those tools where Yasuo often takes extended duels, especially if he's going to be in the side lane at all against something like a Gwen or a Lucian. Exhaust is really valuable. Also, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it is the no-fun zone for Kalista to get exhausted. Yeah. It feels so bad. Like an old-school Nunu snowball just getting tossed at you. He's like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And I think AblazeOlive is going to have to play around that, and so is Abbeddage, right? There's pros and cons. If you just go TP, you can match the resets. In this case, you're less looking for the all-in for AblazeOlive, and you're more looking to actually get the push, harass this guy down, and then get a reset where you have a really good buy, and the wave's in a bad spot for him. Abbeddage, though, pretty clever, because the wave was actually pulled. So AblazeOlive walked up, and he let the initial minions hit him so that they would stack and then focus down his minions. So Abbeddage can't really just walk up to him in that case. He'll take too much free damage. So instead, he preps the Q3, the knock up there, off of the Raptor. So he just walks over, Qs him over the wall, gets that ready so he can step up and at least have a ranged Q to try to grab something. But I mean, that is why he can't walk up. That one quick trade becomes pretty deadly. But the more Qs you can actually hit here, the better it's going to look for you.
Of note, Abbeddage is also trimming the wave, but he is doing everything he can to not push it towards Lucian. Because if that happens and you get zoned off, it is doomed in the early levels.
Yeah. And based on how Lucian is actually playing it, it's going to shove in. It's going to be about how much Abbeddage can pick up here. He gets the deep ward, so they're going to know where Closer is. And when he comes out of that brush, he will be spotted. But it's about the balance. So this is where what you're talking about is really relevant. If Abbeddage is getting frozen on, that can be pretty difficult. But AblazeOlive spending spells on the wave, so he's just going to look to push and try to punish in that way. And then it's just up to how much of the farm can you actually deny him off of. Because when you do shove instead of trying to freeze,
whoa!
it's risky.
Chime's getting in there. Great stun there under FBI, and he's going to get first blood at Iconic. Zooms on down and collected, and now Huhi's looking in a spot of bother. Rend there, not available for Stixxay. 8 seconds till it's back up, but he's hopping away. What a beautiful Q. Huhi pops the W for a bit of extra life. But the kill, I think, is inevitable. No, the hook is good. The auto is there, and it's 2 for Golden Guardians.
That's huge, and they were trying to give that one over to Stixxay that whole time. So big that he is able to get that final auto and get the kill here. We can watch this one more time. It's a dismounted engage, and this is just why I don't like when Rell players play from the mounted position in the early laning phase. The dismounted engage is almost impossible to react to. You just go for the immediate W, flash in that auto. Once it starts buffering, it cannot be flashed. You're going to get flipped in. So that's what happens there to FBI. Immediate flip in. Once you're flipped in, guess what comes next? The stun comes through from the attract repel. And that is just a classic hard engage there.
Good flash from Stixxay, and a necessary one as well. Huhi on the money there with the flash hook, but is happy to trade his flash for Stixxay's, especially given the pressure Golden Guardians have in the 2v2 right now.
Yeah, so honestly, so far, it's looking a little bit rough for AblazeOlive. He needs Iconic to come back and help him get this in. This is a bit risky.
That stun feels bad. Windwall's nice. Abbeddage looking like he's in trouble, but he's going to have a very nice E angle to dash out of the way.
So because it's not Corrupting Potion, he was actually taxing the mana there of AblazeOlive, and that's why Iconic had to show up to help him reset the wave. But at the end of the day, he's actually going to be up on farm. So Lucian really, because AblazeOlive hard pushed, wasn't able to keep him off the farm, he's actually behind in this lane, and that is a concern. Of course, he will have TP, but he's saving it to walk back to lane. So Abbeddage gets a good reset. He's going to be sitting in a really good spot in this 1v1, and we'll have to kind of see how it goes forward, because it's actually a tier Lucian, which is very uncommon these days. You know, most people are just going either Essence Reaver Rush or Mythic Rush and then getting the Essence Reaver second. Like, that's by far the most common. So going towards a tier build, it can be very, very strong. You can even go towards tier Essence Reaver. It's a powerful scaling build, but it does push back your power pretty significantly. So we'll have to see how this really pans out. You know, you're buying for the late game, whereas Yasuo picked up a Doran's Blade and a Dagger. Like, he's buying for now. And as a result, AblazeOlive is going to have to play pretty carefully.
Well, a reminder that both Dash and Kobe drop a new this or that every single Thursday this week. They debated which ability felt worse to miss, Malphite or Warwick ulti, to see where they fell. Check out this week's episode on the LCS YouTube channel.
How about Sejuani ult? That's a famous one.
Ooh.
Famous one in the LCS, getting missed.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Yasuo feels pretty bad when you miss it, because, you know, you're just a dummy. Didn't click the button in time.
That's true.
Depends on the knockup. If it's Trundle Pillar, it's like, I don't know. If Diana gets in there and press the button and 5-man knock up, and you're just sitting over on the other side of the screen, not pressing your button, yeah, that looks bad.
That does look bad, yeah.
There's always a scenario
That's true.
where it looks bad.
The Warwick ult is just funny, though.
It's really
animation
funny.
is so comical, and he's like, yeah, it just looks horrible when you miss.
It goes from like great initiation, like this one from Huhi. Chime getting burnt down. So aggressive in the 100 Thieves bottom lane, and Chime will be felled by Huhi, but Iconic, who are going to reinforce here, does keep him alive as FBI is lucky to not get rendered to pieces.
Yeah, both sides. I think knowing that their jungler was around, it gave them a bit of a false sense of security. Closer was actually in the brush there. I think Chime was kind of saying, all right, Iconic is coming down. I got to keep them interested, but was a little bit too far forward, gets burst down. And then because Closer is there covering, Iconic can't even make the counterplay, right? You know, if their jungler is not there, FBI has no health. He's an easy kill, and then you clean up the supports, 2 for 1. Easy peasy. But Closer, right place, right time, gave 100 Thieves the confidence to play. And Chime now moving in, but
he's in there. They're going for it. They're just going to try and engage. Chime looks for Huhi, gets the damage down, and thanks for the lead.
Yeah.
Golden Guardians will take the dragon, even though it's resetting. Iconic will be able to finish that off.
It's the classic. Good play. They got the reset on the map, and 100 Thieves were slow to start it. And because FBI was so low, he wanted to base. So he actually goes for the reset. They don't have a lot of damage there. It is just Closer. Yes, Hui's there too, but support Nautilus is basically doing nothing to that dragon. So just took too long to actually knock it down. Abbeddage dashing around. Should be about even in farm, assuming he picks up all of this uncontested farm. And you can see up on the top side, it's just been a bit of a farm session. Very, very even between Licorice as well as Ssumday. There's more minions for Licorice to actually pick up here, but hasn't really been able to create much pressure. Now that he does have the Leeching Leer, you know, that is pretty big. When you get the sustaining Gwen, especially when you first complete the Riftmaker, it's such a massive jump in power for this champion, because the way that you want to play against it generally is to dissuade the all-ins by constantly poking her down. And once she gets the Riftmaker, you can't really poke her down anymore, and then it becomes very difficult, and the threat of that potential chase down on an all-in is much higher.
Yeah, Licorice going to collect most of this, you have to imagine, if not all of it. So should be fine catching up to Ssumday, might even be slightly ahead. And this does feel like this is something we'll check back in on later as the game opens up more. It does feel like it is going to be, you know, Gwen side laning versus Ssumday's team fighting that we'll have to look for here. But as you mentioned, isolated 1v1 where no one's really getting an edge. It's going to be a lot of farming.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Vamp Scepter picked up here by AblazeOlive is interesting, because this makes me think he's probably just going like Shield Bow. Could be Blade the Rune King, some sort of on-hit thing, but it's less strong.
Bottom line is fighting again. Stixxay forced to use the Fate's Call. Is level 6, notably. So does pick Chime out to safety.
Yeah, but not this position you want to be in, right? Like, you're playing against the Kaisa ADC Kalista, and you're having to use the Fate's Call defensively. Like, they want to be looking for all-ins. They want to be the ones, you know, really dominating this lane, because Kaisa does just straight up have an easier time to be effective in team fights later on. You know, Kalista generally has to play from a lead, and that's kind of why she has a lot of this early power, because you have relatively short range. You don't have the tools to keep yourself safe that Kaisa does, like the invisibility on the E, as well as the dash and shield on the ultimate. So, you know, if you are not really far ahead, honestly, you're kind of playing like you're behind.
Yeah, I will say, though, As the back and forth happens to bot lane, Abbeddage has managed this mid lane really well.
Absolutely.
It's the rule of 10s with Yasuo. You want to be about 10 CS behind your lane opponent because a lot of your lanes aren't good, and you want to avoid the O10 power spike because it doesn't look good.
Why would you want to avoid that? That's your most powerful part of the game.
The Yasuo players think it's their most powerful part of the game. I don't know how often that actually converts into a win.
It's happened before, you know? Those are the ones they remember. Bless their hearts, those Yasuo players.
All right, well, everything's A-okay. Again, we'll see how things develop because it does feel like it's just kind of a push and pull of these waves. Definitely with levels and items, much easier for Yasuo to actually get things pushing.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to move down to bottom lane, see if something happens. Again, there is so much CC in every lane for Abbeddage to play to, so that is a nice thing about this comp as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Ssumday basing there and him moving towards bot, I was thinking they might look for a 5-man play, but does not end up being the case. He'll just head back towards mid. Ssumday's running out towards top. So happy to play it pretty calm, cool, and collected. And I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, Gwen in a side lane is threatening as far as the scaling there. But everywhere else, I honestly kind of just favor the 100 Thieves as far as their scaling options. I do think that their composition is going to be very difficult to actually deal with later on in the game. Really easy engage options onto this double marksman. So much dive.
Oh, very clean, very nicely. There's Closer coming in hot. The exhaust is down, and that's a beautiful combo there. As Closer will just live from the incoming tower dives, and Iconic can't get in, so Closer gets out safely.
Nicely done. They execute on a combo there. This time, though, Abbeddage setting himself up for the little self-alley-oop there, and Closer was in for the follow-up. Does end up getting out. They got that kill, and because TP is not available, he does end up losing farm off it. Of course, Iconic is able to grab it for himself, so not the end of the world, but always good to get that first kill onto the Yasuo, and he is going to be working towards this Noon Quiver here.
We'll see about the item. Probably Shield Bow, if I had to guess, but all of them but Kraken Slayer are fine. Just maybe don't build that one unless it's a very specific situation.
Yeah, for Yasuo, it feels like it's almost always Shield Bow.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can really try to style on people with the Gale Force, but generally speaking, it is going to be that Shield Bow. And here it is, just nicely set up here by Abbeddage. It's the dash in, into the queue. Can't miss that one. Gets the auto in. You're always checking for that if the mechanics are clean. Gets the auto in before that ult. And now on top side, Licorice looking for an all-in. Ssumday pretty far back, though.
Good flash by Ssumday, but a necessary one as Licorice starting to get that pressure mounting in the lane.
Yeah, exactly. He had the flash there.
Whoa, Chime getting in there. Finds two with a knock-up. Now moves back forward. But ulti out from Nautilus means that Chime is only level 5, by the way, but Rift Herald going to Golden Guardians. If Chime was level 6, that was a very different story. But now just dings it there as Golden Guardians at least get the objective.
Absolutely. They get the top side objective. They had pressure from Licorice, and Ssumday definitely had to flash. The Ignite was still available, and the third usage of the ultimate, which is the most damage, was going to be coming up. So if you get ignited, if you get hit by that, you will go down. Chime is 6 now.
Yo, goes in, gets the knock-up, but Abbeddage going back in as well. Stixxay getting low, but it's a counter kills. Looks so good for Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves have just thrown themselves into Golden Guardians, and FBI is going to get one on the back end, but AblazeOlive and Stixxay going to finish off the job. And Huhi now, alongside Ssumday, the only two left alive, and it's going to just be down to one as Huhi has got no flash. He's going to dodge the W, but Iconic is just going to take a bite out of his back. He's on a killing spree.
The bear is here, and he tore him apart. Licorice in trouble.
Again. Popped Ignite. Ssumday going to get battled here. No rage. Ignite's good enough. Licorice. That's the delayed ace. Licorice finds a solo kill.
The huge kill on the top side there. Ssumday thought he had him in a good spot. Licorice was almost out of mana there. Looked like he could have potentially been in a bit of trouble, but he just turns it around, hits the full snip, the Ignite on top, and that is huge for Golden Guardians, the day of upset.
Surely not, Azael. Surely not. Well, it's trending that way for Golden Guardians. 2,000 gold ahead, 2 dragons. 303 Divine Thunder of Volibear. Iconic is ready to battle here. Stixxay also kind of the other side of the gold. Licorice looking clean, ready to start side-letting there as he's building up towards that 2-item benchmark. It is trending in the right direction. Let's put it that way as we watch this one again.
Absolutely. It's the invade on the red. Chime goes in, hits the ulti, immediately gets pulled back, and Stixxay is out of the fight. But AblazeOlive in the backline is free-firing this whole time. And Iconic was just largely ignored, and this is a damage build here for the Volibear. He didn't have his full mythic completed, but he had the Sheen, he had the Phage, and that is a serious amount of damage he got done. The ulti came across multiple members. tears right through him, and then back towards the top side here. Somebody was just getting aggressive. You know, he had some good trades onto Licorice, but this is really where he missteps. When he steps back into the Shroud, Licorice just eased right back in on top of him. Somebody didn't have the hop available.
Oh!
Which gets turned around.
I know how this happened, but we'll explain later. AblazeOlive just trying to get executed. Last tower shot! It's good enough, baby! AblazeOlive gets out of there!
He gets out of there. Back to the base. It does end up going down, of course, but the kill gold at the very least, not given over. So that is nice for him. And he is playing this Blade of the Rune King build, which is very atypical. Honestly, not sure exactly how strong it is these days, but it's going to be much more of an on-hit style build. You're going to be going towards more mana. You have the Blade of the Rune King, lots of on-hit. Use that with the passive, so that's the thought process. But not a build that I've really seen be very popular lately.
Okay, this is how it happened.
More time.
We caught a preview in the replay before.
Okay, so Rift Herald dropped mid, and he basically is just kind of escorted out towards the other side of the map, decides there's no way I'm getting out, knows that Ssumday is coming. So he's just straight up looking for the execute here. Does end up getting it. Nice sidestep on the boomerang, and Ssumday not able to get in range to actually get an auto down. So things looking pretty good for Golden Guardians. I mean, they're 2,000 gold up. Huhi and FBI looking for some sort of engage here, but they have both the dragons. They have a 2,000 gold lead, and they're looking like they're in a great spot.
And Iconic is just ready to battle anyone that comes anywhere near them. Chime has also been looking good on the engages. He's got the level 7 now on Rell, has access to the ulti. Kalista can throw you in. Stixxay is going to have a mythic soon. Again, moving in the right direction for the Golden Guardians, which is what you like to see.
Yep.
Definitely nowhere close enough to call the potential upset, but much like this game is trending forwards for Golden Guardians, today has certainly been trending for Mark to once again go 0-5 in predictions.
I think probably a lot of us are looking like we're on that trend. So we will see how it plays out. There's a lot of comeback mechanics, though, 400 Thieves, and that's something that you always have to keep in mind.
Licorice is doing it again. Hops back forward. No flash, remember, so only that little dash there for Licorice, which comes up pretty frequently, but can't close the gap to get back in on the Ssumday. Really just a trade. I
mean, the Riftmaker is completed now, and this is where it gets so hard. There's very few champions you want to look for all-in fights against Gwen once she completes that at a decent time, and it's just so difficult. I mean, the initial burst comes out from Ssumday, and it looks like, oh, Gwen's getting a little bit low. But then Conqueror's stacked. Riftmaker's ready to go. All of the self-healing starts to come through, and it gets so dangerous. And I mean, we check back in on this, and Licorice is almost back to full health now. So Ssumday really on the bad end of this matchup at this point. He's down over 20 farm. It's just going to be his job to survive, and they're going to have to look towards their teamfight combos.
Yep.
Diana, Nautilus, Gnar, all setting up for this Kaisa, for this Yasuo to really try to clean up in the 5v5.
Yeah, with the likes of Gwen and Silas, it's a binary state only. They're either alive or they're dead. There's no low health. There is only dead, as Ssumday, again, is going to try and make something happen. But closes here to maybe make it happen. But AblazeOlive rotating up as well. Good timing on both. But Close are going to dive in for it, and he finishes off Licorice. Now Iconic. We're going to make it happen. Oh, that's not what you wanted to see.
The thumbs up. So he tried to jump fully over that wall, but basically it puts you over the wall if you make it, you know, a certain distance past it. Just did not have the range there. Ends up shortening it. Unfortunate for him. Just kind of jumps in place. Looks
cool,
silly.
kind of.
Closer, first one to the play, though, and gets a big reward for it. Now, Licorice would have been fine in the 1v1. They would have been fine in the 2v2. But Iconic is there late. AblazeOlive is there late. Licorice ends up getting taken down, and it's a good counter kill. And it's something that is honestly pretty important for them after your top laner gets solo killed, after he's in this losing position. You've got to find ways to really keep him relevant and not allow Licorice to just run over the game.
All right, well, Licorice is TP'd down to this side lane, which is good because Golden Guardians do want this third dragon if they can get it, but the vision is not there. Iconic leading the charge, just going to straight face check. Sees one. This feels like bait. Oh, now they know the Nautilus hook is there, but they're going to chase Closer anyway. Getting the flash out of the deal. Golden Guardians now can walk into this Dragon Pit as Ssumday getting a little too far forward, but the Rage is looking good. Stixxay flashes the Nautilus ultimate. Ssumday, we're going to make it happen. Chime, they're going to go back in, pops the ulti, but he's going to get killed before it happens. Fade's Call not been able to be used, but the damage is just there for Golden Guardians as Licorice gets tagged, but nobody follows up. 100 Thieves, even in the 5v4, I don't think they've got enough health here Oh my goodness, so close. Oh, he makes it happen. There's the Yasuo combo. 100 Thieves do find their way back through, and they're going to wipe them here at the front of the pit, but Licorice still alive alongside AblazeOlive, as I may have spoken too soon. A very back and forth affair.
Absolutely. Critically, though, AblazeOlive was alive throughout all of that, getting so much damage down, and Licorice as well did survive. 100 Thieves with a great re-engage with that combo. FBI, Abbeddage, Closer all flying in. Does end up being a trade for that mid lane tier 1, but that is now Soul Point with a potential Ocean Soul here, so that is very concerning for 100 Thieves. A really close back and forth fight. We can see it one more time. Closer separated for the team, immediate pings onto him. The hook misses. They know the rest of the team is separated from him. Closer does flash to safety, but it gets chunked out. Then it is the look onto Ssumday. The Nautilus ult forces Stixxay out though, and that really does relieve a lot of the pressure. You can see that AblazeOlive got knocked up as he dashes in. Licorice is getting so much damage down on the team, and this is kind of where you're talking about, well, 100 Thieves, you probably can't re-engage because both Huhi and Ssumday are really, really low. But Closer finds the angle here in onto their members. They do get onto Stixxay. He ends up going down, but AblazeOlive on the side is untouched through all of that. He's just barely out of the range of that initial Diana ultimate, and as a result, doesn't get tagged by the Yasuo, and is able to just rip through that fight.
And now again, the side lane situation is going to get worse for the 100 Thieves side as Gwen going to knock down a tower. By the way, Ssumday taking mid tower was the first one of the game. So Golden Guardians do at least answer back, but they will not get the bonus gold, of course. It has been very back and forth. The team fight damage reflects that. The gold currently reflects that. It is this Ocean Soul that is the big separating point right now.
That tier stacking up here, and that is going to be a really big power spike for the Lucian. Again, you know, most people don't go for this, not because that the Muramana can't be a strong item on Lucian. It's more because it is such a late power spike. It is a very heavy scaling build, but the passive with it is so strong, and Ssumday, you're just not really going to be able to hurt Licorice.
Oh, good dodge on the ulti there as well, but the rest of the damage is coming through. It's Huhi trying to reinforce, but Licorice is making it happen. Gets in there, solos Ssumday with Huhi right in his face, and now Chime's getting back in there. Huhi's going to die. Calling over the wall's going to force the rest of them out. It's Golden Guardians starting to sing.
The second solo kill for Licorice on to Ssumday here at his debut with Golden Guardians. Looking good. The sidestep on the Gnar ulti, and now they're just going to force. They feel like they're in a really strong spot. You've got double marksman with Kalista. You have the ability to turn here with Chime, who has Hex Flash, and his ulti is available. And they are looking to force here, Pastry.
Yep, they're going for a close that can be in range for the steal. The Golden Guardians going to play it safe. Looks like it's going to be a team burst situation, but Closer still just hanging out on the sideline again. If he can steal this, it's a big one, but Chime is going to move back in. They're going to go for the fight. Iconic over the wall. Licorice on a rampage takes him down. Abbeddage got nothing as the wind wall expires. The Baron goes down. Abbeddage falls, and Golden Guardians are on the verge of yet another upset on the day.
The reality of the upsets. It's creeping closer and closer here. They got the Baron. A big gold lead at this point. Cosmic Drive even now completed for Licorice. A very fast 2 items from him. He is monstrously strong. You can see the stopwatches as well. And it's just a fight again. The upfront damage is very hard from Gnar. And maybe if he hits the Mega Gnar, he can make something happen. But honestly, after you use your first round of spells on the Gnar, it's Gwen's time to have fun. You just don't really have the damage to finish through and actually burst this guy down. And you can see post-kill, Licorice is back to full health. Right? It doesn't take long for him to just snap right back up. Then the Baron take, really well done for Golden Guardians. They're not willing to flip it. They know they have the ability to actually turn on the play here. And this is what you want to see from these teams around the Baron. Don't allow Closer to go for the 50-50. Yes, you have the Kalista, but make it 100-0. So instead, they get it low and then just straight over the wall here. You can see Chime is ready to go in, hits the combo. Licorice hitting him over the wall as well. In goes Iconic, in goes Licorice. They knock down the jungler, and Abbeddage, who is there for the potential backup on maybe a Yasuo Diana combo, can't find anything. Golden Guardians, they have Soul in 50 seconds. They have a massive gold lead. They're cleaning up towers, and they're extending their advantage.
And it's so nice to see that Baron from Golden Guardians, because unfortunately, one of their consistent things have been getting leads, and then just one mistake around an objective flips the game around. That was very clean looking. Golden Guardians are still applying pressure as Abbeddage is trying to play side lane, but remember, this is no TP Yasuo. He has to walk or recall back to save this, and there's just nothing to stop this Hindi hit from going down.
Yeah, I think at this point, they're willing to make a trade. As long as they're not giving up their Nexus, they're just going to seed ground. They're going to try to get gold elsewhere. They're hoping to get towards the IE for Abbeddage, almost guaranteed. That's what they were looking for. He has all the components, so they're trying to look for some sort of a thing to fight around, right? And maybe you get that IE, you hit the 100% crit, you have the potential burst to knock down this backline. That is where they were trying to look, but Soul is here, and he doesn't have the IE, so they've got to fight, and I think it's just they're just going to give it up.
You can't get it. They took the supers, they're going bottom lane, like Golden Guardians set it up, and they're going to knock this Ocean Soul down. Can't believe I'm saying this, but we're on the verge of another upset.
I mean, it's just crazy. And you look at all of the insurance policies here that are being purchased for Golden Guardians. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 stopwatches in inventory ready to go here for this penultimate fight. And for 100 Thieves, it's going to be 100% about the engage, because in an extended fight, you will just lose the Ocean Soul. You must 100 to 0 someone basically instantly to have a shot. They do have the ability to do that once IE comes through with 2 items on Diana, 2 items on Yasuo. You find that dream combo, maybe something happens, right? But barring that, it's going to be incredibly difficult. They are trying to be ready for this Ocean Soul with the Executioners picked up here by FBI, but it's not like that's their only advantage. You know, they're way up in gold. The Transform there coming through on the Muramana, so that is ready to go as well. As I said, the 4 stopwatches. 5 now, actually, as Chime grabs 1. So, like, this is just smart stuff from Golden Guardians. Put everything into this final fight, because this game is going to be decided on it, right? You know, grab elixirs, grab stopwatches, be ready to go, clean it out.
No, I cannot imagine predicting stronger teams would win today. This
Couldn't
day
be me.
is too, couldn't be anyone else. Is there such a thing as upset week? I like that. I like that a lot.
It started.
In the LEC, they have upset week. Yes, it is definitely upset city, and we go Ssumday, trying to make the engage happen. But again, 5v5 or 4-1 with the side lane Gwen. Golden Guardians just have so many options here.
They absolutely do. And Gwen is just unmatched. You know, she was already winning every 1v1 pre-Ocean Soul. Now you got no shot. The IE has come through from Abbeddage, but again, it has to be the absolute flawless engage. And they've got no vision. Like, how do you even find this setup, right? There's just nothing from that point forward.
And remember, the Super Minions still streaming in towards the bottom of the map, so Golden Guardians being very patient, don't need Licorice in a side lane. The Super Minions are doing that for you. And we saw how hard it was to kill Gwen 1v1 before. Now she has no Ocean Soul. There's no way.
There's absolutely no shot in winning that extended 1v1. So really all you're trying to do here as 100 Thieves is delay, right? You're trying to hope that, okay, what we can maybe get done is a challenge for the Elder. And you try to get that Elder steal and turn around the game. It's got to be something like that. So really 100 Thieves for now, you just try to get as much gold as you can, hit your power spikes, and maybe challenge at Baron. But maybe even Baron, you're just willing to give up and look towards Elder, where you're hoping that you can find some sort of an advantage, some sort of an angle to really make it happen.
All right, 50 seconds till the Baron is up. Elder in 3. Iconic gonna go ahead, team up with Chime, get that vision all cleaned out. Golden Guardians, that last Baron looked really good. It's just gonna be, again, that same thing where just do the same thing you did last time. Figure out what your plan is, execute it cleanly, and then wards on down, whichever lane is open, and finish off the game. It sounds simple, but the moment is still very tense, especially because Golden Guardians, again, have had the game in their hands like this before, and unfortunately thrown it away. And that's, if you're a Golden Guardians fan, honestly, if it's a League of Legends fan, that's not what you want to see today.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you want to see them be able to close this out. Obviously, 100 Thieves, their fans, going to be praying for that comeback, but Golden Guardians trying to take it, you know, check off all the boxes, control vision, make sure that they're not getting TB flanked, make sure that they have eyes on all the forms of engage here from 100 Thieves. Because if you can see them, it's going to be pretty difficult for them to actually find that perfect engage. And for 100 Thieves. That's why this constant battle for vision becomes very important. But the further you get from your base, the more dangerous it becomes, because you will lose that straight up 5v5 without the heroics.
I love this. The two-man start with the Kalista. Chime again running interference. Now Golden Guardians look for the turn. Licorice with the flank. There goes Chime. In he goes. Looking for the kill there. And FBI is just deleted. And now Golden Guardians can play the 5v4. But it's the re-engage there for 100 Thieves. Close are going to die as Stixxay grabs himself a double. Abbeddage getting zoned off there. It looks like it's just nothing for the Thieves. Abbeddage, a very nice looking three-man ulti, but Ssumday is trying to save the day. Gets one back. But 3 for 1. Not a trade the 100 Thieves wanted.
Not at all, and they've got the wave through bot lane. Golden Guardians looking to pull off the upset here against 100 Thieves in what has become the day of upsets.
All right, well, they're pushing through. They're going to retake this bottom in here. The supers are here. They're going to go for it here. 10 seconds till closure is up. 20 seconds on the rest. FBI is now spawned, but Ssumday just can't really do anything. FBI is trying to defend, but Stixxay leaps straight on top of him. Gonna rip him apart there as he's forced back to the fountain. But Golden Guardians, now it's 3v4 as they can look to just go straight for the Nexus. Huhi reinforcing Nexus open. Licorice strong. They kite back. They kill closer. And Golden Guardians, they are gonna do it. They are gonna take down 100 Thieves, snap their winning streak, and Licorice has to feel so good after that game.
Absolutely. All the criticism he had been getting on FlyQuest on a 10-game losing streak, joining Golden Guardians, taking down 100 Thieves in your first game, the top team in the league, solo killing Ssumday multiple times in this game on the Gwen. And 100 Thieves, they went for the Yasuo, they went for the style pick, but they could not make it come together as Golden Guardians played the better game here. Big early game from Iconic as well.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Right place, right time, multiple scenarios, crushed through that fight in their jungle at their red buff. That felt like the biggest turning point. You know, they had objective control, then they got a big gold lead. They're winning in the side lane through Licorice. They're getting all the dragons. And 100 Thieves just kind of had their options taken away one by one. You know, they had that one combo that almost turned around a fight over by that dragon where they took down Stixxay, but even for that one, AblazeOlive was untouched and was just free-firing in that fight, wiping them out alongside Licorice. So very impressive stuff here from Golden Guardians, and it's nice to see them convert on these leads, because I do think while they have been kind of going 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 each week, they're clearly way better than Spring already. Their early games were becoming, you know, a point of power where they could sometimes get these leads, but to your point, you know, you're talking about in the game, they've thrown a lot of those leads. And it's just great to see them cleanly close out a game, not 50-50 the Baron, find the engage, find the turn, and not give your opponents any opportunity to come back.
You mentioned the FlyQuest losing streak. Licorice has now snapped that personal loss streak as well, which mentally has to feel amazing. But after the break, we are going to be hearing from AblazeOlive as he's going to look back.